Thankfully, as architects, we typically have individuals and organizations coming to us to aspire to do better, right? They want to manifest in space what their organizational values are and what their mission is and how they want to envision the future. And we have the responsibility and this great honor to help them shape that vision three-dimensionally and spatially. Oftentimes, it's that aspirational aspect that kind of really gets me going. And so I try to tap into that. What are you trying to accomplish? And why is it going to be different than what you have now that will make it so much better for those that you serve? That's why we talk about dignity a lot. We talk about these kind of big amorphous topics because they can then drill down and manifest in details and design. Dignity, for example, oftentimes individuals who are in crisis, if they're in an inpatient setting, for example, a lot of their freedoms are taken away. A lot of indignities are experienced by them because of the kind of lack of agency and autonomy that we may take for granted outside of those four walls of most institutions. And so, how can we give back a sense of autonomy and agency? Can we foster dignity? And that goes back to how do you foster self worth when someone may not feel as if they have any worth or value? If you're just simply seen, then it starts to validate your existence for some folks that really may need that at that point in time of their crisis. What about the environment can help them have a sense of control over what is happening to them and not simply be a number in an institution or otherwise lacking the sense of self-worth of like, I can't go get a drink of water, I can't eat, I can't sleep, I can't bathe, I can't do anything without someone else telling me to do it or the environment not allowing me to do it. So oftentimes it's going back and like, how do I do that safely? How do I help someone navigate a crisis and foster that sense of autonomy by giving them back control over their environment, giving back a sense of control over their environment? That can be any number of things of like, where are my belongings? If you come in with a shopping cart and that is all of your life possessions and you want to know what's going to happen to your stuff. If you've ever had a sibling or a roommate, you know what happens when someone messes with your stuff in your own personal space. That's how conflict arises. So it's the same thing if you have to share a bathroom with another individual, your definition of hygiene may be different from your sibling or your roommate. So what about those things come from a simple planning standpoint of like, how do you foster belonging by simply taking care of your belongings? You don't have the anxiety and anxiousness of not knowing where all your worldly possessions may be. It's a very simple thing, but it could be in the world for a child if they can have their binky or their blanket or that book that they always were read to. And if they've slept on the street for an extended period of time, until you've experienced that, until you've slept rough and you don't know if someone's going to mess with you in the middle of the night and you've never had the trauma of never having a good night's sleep and not really understanding that, yeah, being able to lock your door and the safety and security of that, not just physically, but psychologically, can be profound. Because obviously, if you don't sleep well, you're going to be a little cranky. I have a 1-year-old, and trust me, I know all about that. Obviously, it's a lot harder if you're sleep deprived and cranky and stressed out than to go to therapy the next day and then to engage well and then to make meaningful connections and build rapport with the providers that are trying to help you. So that we talk about the sanctity of sleep a lot of times, if it's an inpatient or like setting where individuals are going to lay their head, an organization is going to take on that responsibility and defining what that responsibility is. And then how does that manifest in space?